I like to go over this hotel project room finishes assignment and kind of get you going to how to read the table and so forth. So you can see we start off with this chart to fill out, and it has the room name there and the room number that matches the PDF. And then we have certain things to determine: the occupancy function and whether it's new or existing, and then whether it's an exit access, and other space. And once we determine that, then we'll know what the wall finish requirements would be or the floor finish requirements would be if they are required. So let's take a look a little bit at our plan here. So this is the plan, and I've added some notes here to help us figure out some of these require a certain number of people to determine the finish requirement. But you can see the numbers here correspond to the numbers in the chart, and you can kind of orient yourself. So the main lobby is here. This is the kind of the way they get out of the space. That goes to a corridor back here. There's some stairs here and some stairs here. A doorway out here as well. Doorway out there as well, another exit. A ballroom space, a meeting room space, some offices for the management of the hotel, some restroom areas, and then we have the single rooms. And then we also have a suite here on a second floor. So apparently the second and third floors are the similar, so they just have one plan that would apply for both of them. Then we got one suite here, we got another suite over here, and then more single rooms. We know this is an existing hotel. It's first floor here, existing hotel, second and third floors. There's a non-sprinklered building. Another table that would be good is this table A, 10.2.2. I've added some lines to it, and I would recommend you use that one. I know the book and also the codes online have the true table without the lines, but I think the lines really help to determine where something begins, something ends. They're very close together, and they'll help you determine these things. You can see here this is set up similarly to our chart in our assignment. We have an occupancy here, then the exits, exit access corridor, and other spaces. So one of the first things we'll have to do is look at whether the use of the space. And this is very similar to our table 1004.5. Remember how we had to do this to determine occupant load? We had to determine what things are. And so we can use that as our guide as well. And if we need to, you can go back to some of these earlier chapters to determine what these would be. So this is our plan, and we're going to use this table primarily. All right. So let's go take a look here. The first room we have to look at is the main lobby. And we need to know what the function is. We know it's existing. We've already been told that. So we just need to know what the function is. So looking at the plan, it looks like it's a place to exit. This, the main lobby, is an exiting. But we don't have a function called exits. It's one of the other categories. Let's take a look at the table again. Exits is a category depending on what the occupancy is. So looking at the plan, what does this lobby, who's exiting out of the lobby? Well, people in the ballroom are exiting out of the lobby. People in the offices are exiting out of the lobby. People in hotels are exiting out of the lobby. The meeting room exiting out of the lobby. So we had to think about what is the worst case scenario here. I mean, what is the most stringent requirement for the spaces? Well, a ballroom, what kind of space is it? It's a space where people gather, maybe for a party, a dance, or whatever, or maybe just for a large meeting. So a ballroom would probably be assembly space. That's how we would understand it in this table, right? And whether it's concentrated or standing room, it doesn't matter for our table. We have assembly here and determines how many occupants are. The project says that we can assume that there could be greater than 300 people here. All right. What other spaces? The office. Okay, what's an office? Well, it's tables and chairs and desks and computers, probably, filing cabinets, perhaps. So I would say that would be a business type situation. And then the meeting room is another assembly space. And then these single rooms are more like just hotel rooms, right? I mean, they're not residential. they're not residential because they don't have kitchens inside them, typically. And they're just a place to sleep and use the restroom and get out, take a shower, whatever, for the night, and then get back out again. So those places are kind of like in this situation, again, I wouldn't call them 1 or 2 family dwellings. They're not places that are going to stay there. They're more like a hotel and dormitory setup, right? They're not even like apartment buildings, because apartment buildings, again, will probably have like a laundry room in it or a kitchen and dining room. No, this is just basically it's a bedroom, a place to sleep, place to shower, and off you go. So I would say we would have to use this type of setup. All right. So we've got hotels, we've got assembly, we've got business. Is there anything else here? No, I think we've covered the bases. So for main lobby, we're going to type in assembly, and then business and hotel. And we said that that would be an exit, right? They're exiting out of the space. So with that information, I can now go into the table and determine what kind of finishes we need. So assembly existing, and it's greater than 300 occupant load. Our exits are A. At this point, I can stop searching for the exit finishes for the other spaces, and I only need to check for floor finishes. The reason being is that A is the most stringent, and there's no other options available to us. So that will be the most stringent we could have. So for floor and for ceiling and wall finishes, it's just A. So we need to just find out floor finishes. And for the assembly space, there is no finish listed. Let's scroll down to business. Again, business and ambulatory healthcare. Well, it's business. Existing. Again, for an exit, it's A or B. But because A is more stringent, B is not going to be an option for us. And there is no flooring information. All right. So then let's go to the hotels. Again, hotels and dormitories existing. A or B. Again, A is going to be what you're going to use. 1 or 2. Now we have a floor finish requirement. Up to this point, any finish, there was no requirement at all. Now they're saying that this has to be a 1 or 2 finish requirement. All right, so let's go back in here and we're going to type in 1 or 2. And we're going to type with Roman numerals because that is what the code uses. We always want to type in exactly what the code has in the format the code gives it. And you want to make a match. The codes are legal documents, and so you want to always make a match in your work and in your notes about what you're using. Let's take a look at the ballroom now. What kind of space is that here? It's a ballroom, assume greater than 300. Okay. I can see there's doors leading out. An assembly area. That's what it is. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put assembly. It's not an exit. And looking at this, it's not an exit access either. People aren't supposed to be going through the hotel, the ballroom to get there. So it must be an other space. Another space, an assembly. All right, let's take a look at the chart then. Assembly, existing, greater than 300, not an exit access corridor, other space, A or B. And there's no floor finish requirement. So I would write down here, A or B, and there's no floor finish requirement, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Nothing's required here. For the rest of the assignment, with a chart, just continue on using the same process, determining the function, determining whether it's exit access, or other space, and then the wall finish and floor finish is necessary for the rest of these. Then you have to find a floor, ceiling, and wall finishes for the main lobby. And the main lobby is right here. So we're looking to go online using the lecture for some possible sites. Go online to find the wall finish and floor finish and ceiling finishes. And we know that the wall and ceiling finish is going to be A only, and the floor finish is 1 or 2. And once you find the information, put the hyperlink there. Put a screenshot of what you've got and make sure you circle the calcification on the screenshot so it's easily found. And then the assignment's complete.